I'm Ryan Holiday, author of Trust Me, I'm Lying, Confessions of a Media Manipulator, Growth Hacker Marketing, and The Obstacle is the Way.
So I want to talk about controversy because you've been no stranger to it. Your book talks about very controversial tactics that you use to get press for American Apparel, for Tucker Max, for all kinds of people. What are some of the examples of controversies that have been levied against you or that you've engineered?
What we realized is, like, if we're going to grow the brand and our advertising budget is a fraction of what our competitors have, because, Gap pays its workers 75 cents an hour, let's say, and American Apparel is paying $13 to $18 an hour. How does it make up that deficiency? And it's through interesting and provocative advertising. We don't have $100 million to spend on a jeans campaign or whatever. So it's how do you make ads that make people talk? And you have to do things that are provocative and interesting. But it's not always like sex or controversy. With American Apparel, we when Prop 8 passed in California, which was the amendment banning gay marriage, we created a legalized gay campaign that was equally controversial, but with different people. And the point was that, like, we felt like the state had no right to tell people who could and couldn't marry, and it was something that mattered to our employees, and we spent millions of dollars on a huge campaign that at a point when other brands were afraid to talk about it. So my definition of controversy is something that provokes a reaction, and there's a whole bunch of research that shows that what drives social sharing and chatter on the internet is high valence emotions. So anger, surprise, humor. And if your campaigns don't do that, you're going to have to spend a lot more money to get them in front of people.
Let's talk about a campaign that you ran that was controversial by your definition versus what a traditional marketer would have done.
Yeah, I think what a traditional marketer does is they have some idea and then it runs through a committee of dozens of people and all the edges get rounded off. Yeah. And you want to make a campaign. First off, most marketing is done by outside firms. So if you're a fashion brand, you hire someone else to do your marketing. And so their main goal is to not get fired by you. Yeah. It's not to make great work, it's to not get fired. Well, American Apparel is a vertically integrated company. And so if I had an idea for something, as the director of marketing, I could call the CEO and say, this is what I want to do. And he would say, that's fine. And then we had our own studios, we had our own, I did the ad buying, we did all that stuff. So I could just do it. So I think part of the reasons that our stuff was so controversial is not because it was controversial, it was just authentic and real because it hadn't run through all these boring filters. And I think a lot of people, they try to be safe and they try not to take risks. And as a result, they do stuff that is safe and not risky and doesn't provoke any kind of reaction for people. And then they wonder why people aren't talking about it.
Right.
Like when I was thinking about campaigns, I would think about, all right, if we were advertising on this site and then we stopped advertising, would people notice? And if it didn't pass that test, it was probably pretty unremarkable and therefore maybe not worth doing. And I wish people would understand that about big risks too. It's like, I'm going to quit my job and become this thing. And then you're thinking about all the reasons you shouldn't, but you can also just think you're not going to die because of this. You can always go back and apply for a different, there's very little that you can do in your life that's going to so utterly burn your bridges that you're going to end up destitute living under a bridge and no one will speak to you.